And love, peace and love, everyone. Let me make sure I got my volume together. If you're coming into this broadcast, please place a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. If you can see me, put a 1 in the chat. I think everybody over it. Yeah, I'm probably good for the most part, but put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I want to make sure that I have my audio together. All right. Hopefully you all got the notification that I was going to go live. I had intentions of going live at 8 p.m., but plans change. So I didn't want to let the weekend go by without hopping on to talk about the amazing time that we had yesterday. If you are on this live broadcast and you were enrolled in the Secure Your Interest 3-part intensive series, you were in class with me all day yesterday, literally from 10 a.m. to after 6 p.m. Put some fireballs in the chat. Put some fireballs in the chat. Yes, fireballs. Put some fireballs in the chat. We had a wonderful time. The class was very, very interactive. I'm so thankful to everyone that enrolled. I'm just so blessed and thankfully humble that I was able to teach this class yesterday. I knew that I couldn't do this class in just 30 minutes, 60 minutes, or even 3 hours. And I didn't want to stretch it out over the span of 3 weeks because I know how important it is to make sure that everyone gets this information as soon as possible. We really, literally do not have a lot of time, right? So I said, okay, I'm gonna do this on a Saturday. We're gonna get in here. We're gonna be in and out, even if it takes all day, to make sure that everyone gets situated on the information. Because there is nothing like having to go through a class and you have to wait a week to move over to step 2 after you've already started the process, right? So I wanted to structure it in a way where we can knock it out, even though it's in 3 parts. If you hung in there with me, I know it was an adventure. It was definitely an adventure, but it was so informative, and you all were just so inquisitive, and you all are so just smart, and you're critical thinkers, because that is what is going to take in order to be able to maneuver what it is that that we're trying to accomplish. We have to be able to think on our feet. We have to be critical thinkers. These are qualities that if we don't have it, we're going to have to develop it, because we are going to be moving in a situation where we're going to have to be relying solely on ourselves. And so when you acquire the knowledge, when you study and acquire the knowledge, it becomes self-evident and undeniable. So you're walking in complete and utter undeniable truth. And it's a good feeling to have when you've mastered whatever it is that you're trying to do. And you don't have to, continuously depend on somebody else to give you answers. That's not what we're doing no more. We're not doing that no more. We're not going to be depending on anybody else to give us the answers. We're going to empower ourselves, do the work ourselves, do our own documentation. We're going to do this on our own. Each and every one of us has the ability to do this on our own. Whether you have a computer set up at home, you have access to a family member's computer, you can go down to the library. There are resources out there that will put you in front of a computer and a printer where you can get the documentation done. If you have resources, if you have the ability to do so, set yourself up like an office at home office, right? Because like I was explaining last night, the concept is to have, you have to have a business around this. It's really a consumer business. That's really what it is. So you want to set yourself up as such. Have a basket for your incoming and outgoing mail. Have a stack of paper. Have your envelopes. Have your pens, your notepads. Make sure you have ink. Buy a printer because it'll be more cost effective for you to have a printer at home than to pay, to have things printed elsewhere. These are some of the things that it's an investment when you really think about it. It's really an investment. This is going to help you to get organized and get efficient at what it is that you're doing. So when you have a space that is free from clutter, that is set up and designed to tackle a task, and you have all of your resources around you, and you have your space where you can think clearly, it'll be more easier for you to execute. That's just the fact. It'll be easier for you to execute. Yeah. Right. So if you have missed it, I'm getting some emails telling me that people weren't able to enroll, that they didn't get the invite link for the class. There was a number of things going on yesterday. Rest assured, if we have you in the system, first name, last name, with email, then you will most certainly be placed into the class where you have access to everything. Yeah, because I actually had someone shoot an email, and when I looked in the system, I didn't see anything. So I don't know if there was some sort of glitch. There was just an issue with that service provider. So I did drop another link over on Facebook. Let me see. I can drop it here in the chat if you like. But it was sort of like a backup link, just in case the initial link wasn't working properly. I know a few people were able to pay with using the backup link. Let's see if I can. But yeah, so we had a great time yesterday. And you all had some really real, genuine real life questions. Like these are situations that people are going through that they're trying to get resolved or navigate through. It just needed a nudge in the right direction. And sometimes it takes you having to talk it out with somebody else to try to figure out what the next step is. Sometimes you just got to talk it out. All right, give me this. Great. Okay, you can try using that link. But if you've had any issues at all with trying to log in to your back office portal, or you never received the email prompting you to create a password, shoot me an email at this address so I can get you situated. Okay. Yeah, it's and once I get everything else loaded in there, yeah, you'll see. And someone we were talking about the trademark. we're talking about the completion of the trademark application. So what I'm going to do is create a segment inside of the course for how to complete the trademark application. I'm just going to go and create a new one and document the process so that you all can see the screen share and, you know, all that good stuff. It'll be really detailed. So let me ask you all a question. After taking the course, what is the very first thing you're going to do after you took the Secure Your Interest 3-part intensive series? Because, you know, the first chapter, we went over how to restore your family name and how to take control of your legal person, right? So what's the very, very, very first thing that you're going to do? Like, what was your, not only what's the first thing you're going to do, what was your initial thought after we ended that Zoom call yesterday? How were your emotions? Because we were on an emotional journey yesterday. You know, and when you're learning that type of information, a lot of different thoughts go through your head. Yeah. I always have trouble scrolling through the TikTok comments for some reason. My finger won't let me scroll. Oof. I was optimistic about the fact that I can really do this. Lena, you can. You can do it. It does. Listen, Scorpio Phoenix Rising said the information takes you through stages of grief once you start learning the truth. Yes, it does take you through different stages of grief. And that acceptance phase is probably one of the hardest because it will really cause you to have to unlearn everything that you thought you've known. Yep, the stages of grief. That's a real life thing. Exciting and mind blowing, Curtis. Harfell said, "What did I miss?" Oh, you missed a lot. You missed a lot. That third session went for 4 hours. Like we wait, did it go for 4 hours? Session number 3, it went for about 3 hours actually, because we started it at 3:30, I believe, and it went up until after 6 o'clock. So about 2.5 hours. But all the sessions went over. They were all 2 hours increments, and every single last one went over. You know, because it's important to digest the information. And I wanted to make sure that we had Q&A towards the end of each session so that everyone had a clear understanding before we move to the next session. But I get that there's going to be different levels of questioning as you get deeper into the process. Yeah, they bamboozled. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what I said. They bamboozled us. Yeah, probably what I'll do. Actually, I'm gonna do them. I'll upload them tonight because they're already ready. The replays will be uploaded tonight. And then I'll get the rest of the documents and everything loaded between Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, the replays will be in there tonight. So at least if you sign up tonight, you can still get access to that information and access to the replays, because I believe they set it for what's today? Yeah, so it'll be at the current price point until the 5th, which is tomorrow, Labor Day. Yep. Yes, a lot of information. Are you doing a mentorship or just Facebook page for the class? I don't. I know that I'm not going to be doing any sort of mentoring at all, because I don't have the capacity. Everything that I do is going to have to be in some sort of group setting. And yes, the Facebook group will definitely be dropped in the course. You said no sleep. Yeah. Let's see. Yep, no sleep. You will never go back the same way that you came after you take this class. You just won't. I'm scrolling back up just to make sure that I can see all the comments. Oh, Miranda, I just dropped the link in the chat. If you scroll up, you'll be able to see it. Yep, get birth certificates, get the long form. I sent my packet laid out 15 USC 1681 C2. I'm trying to listen, that's what it's going to take. It's literally going to take you going through. See, the first thing is to remove yourself off of electronic billing. Take yourself off of electronic billing so that you can begin to get those coupons in the mail and those monthly statements in the mail. You want to be able to receive the envelope, open the envelope, fill it with your fingers. You want to be able to spot the violations with the paper in your hand. And if you go back and look at the code that I mentioned last night, it speaks about symbols. It speaks about symbols, and the symbols on the outside of the envelope too. And remember, you have a right to privacy. So the mailman is not even supposed to know who you're doing business with. So it's a violation for them to put their symbols and logos on the outside of the envelope. So we want to be able to spot the violations. The electronic billing is just something that they came up with I just look at it as another distraction. I look at almost everything as a distraction, everything. But that's just how I am, I guess. Yep, certificate of live birth, get a passport. You already have a PO box, that's good. I'm going to work on my trademark and new passport, absolutely. I was optimistic about the fact that I can do this. Yes, exciting and mind-blowing. The information takes you through stages of grief. Getting the PO box and passport, that's my first steps. Enlightening and very thorough. Yes, feel empowered, unlearn to relearn. That's what it's going to take. It's like we have to do a brain dump almost. You got to get rid of a lot of old, outdated information information that sounded good, but was disguised as bad information. That's what we've been fed all these years. And really, a lot of the information that we've learned over the years came from it came from our elders who were just trying to survive, literally. So their thought process was a lot different than ours is today. You know, it's just certain questions that they didn't ask, certain things that they didn't do in order to ensure that they could survive because we were under attack on so many levels, you know. So you just, when you out here trying to survive, you're just trying to stay the path. You ain't really trying to do nothing over here and nothing over there. You really just, you know, kind of closed off. Yeah, Harley, it wasn't a YouTube live. It was we were on Zoom calls. So true. My sister and I literally have to work to take care of the kids and study this. Yeah, yeah. You want to have you need to have people around you that's going to help take the load off so that you can take time to study. Hmm. Absolutely, Amy. C2 credit, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yep, every single one. Truth with M Town. I was ooh, 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 ooh. I was running around like a mad person for 3 weeks straight trying to get this paperwork together. 3 weeks. Because the thing of the matter is that I used the templates that I already have, but I had to add to it and put my little swing on it and put my own words on it. And when I would print something out, I would read it because it's hard for me to proofread on the computer because I'm going to miss something every time. I have to print it out and read it, you know. And then I'll have like either my mom or my husband proofread it and they'll be like, oh, okay, you need to fix this, and this, right? And so then I got to reprint. But it's a lot of things that help me up because if, remember, it goes based on your level of understanding. So every day that I study, I gain new understanding of something. And then I added it to the process, but I didn't go backwards. You say you were dogma. All right. Audrey Taylor, the Zoom calls are not available for individual purchase. Um, everything is going to be inside of the course. My car insurance is paying the car off, but the car was paid off at purchase. What is yeah, I know. I was very, 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 very. Okay, so you've all determined what your next steps are. What are some of the things that you're going to do to have to mentally prepare yourself for the days to come? Is there any adjustments that you're going to have to make in your schedule? What is that going to look like for you? So let's say, you know, once you get your passport, um, because that's really the missing, that's the first, that's the first thing you need. the first thing you need. Now, if you're dealing with child support, I'm working on this letter. This letter is fire. It's fire, but I'm going to test it first because I know part of the reason why a lot of men don't, I know, listen, I understand the situation. I completely understand. So if I test it and it works, it will be made available in the course. In the course. Because if not getting the passport, is going to be an issue. You have to have that identifying document that identifies you with the surname and given name. Unless you have some other identification that establishes that, but it has to be a federal identification. So hold on, let me scroll up. I think I missed the super chat. C2 credit. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for that. Miranda, I think let me see. Drop it again. Okay. I just dropped another link in the comment section for you. The people want to know when is the next class. I will probably be doing something on it's going to be before the end of the month. I'll drop a flyer for it tomorrow. You'll see. Trying to get certain information out before the end of the year because everything that I've been seeing, if we're going to do something, we need to do it now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. All right. I appreciate you too. I have 100 left on my car note. Should I start the process before I pay it off? 100 what? $100? Are you if you have $100 on your car note? Okay, I want you to answer this question. I'm gonna come back to you, but I want you to answer this question. You said you have $100 left on your car note. Should I start the process before I pay it off? What do you all think the answer to his question is? That's Daryl Sims. Here's my question. I financed a new car a few months ago. My husband just wrecked the car last month. Car insurance is paying it off. What can I do? The same thing. Because you still issue value to the dealership. So it's the same thing. Yes, it was on a paid platform. Since the car was already paid for at the time of purchase. So true. My sister and I literally work, take care of the kids. Yeah, you'll definitely need another car. I think my comments jumped because some of these are read already. Well, Alicia, so we spoke about the authenticating the birth certificate on yesterday's training, and on one of my previous videos, I believe I uploaded on YouTube earlier this year, I spoke about the definition of authenticate as it pertains to the UCC. So when you read the definition, it just says to sign or adopt a record. So when you look at the term authenticate and how it's defined, it doesn't say anything about going to the Department of State. Now, I'm not saying that it's not going to be important at some point to get the notary seal authenticated by your Secretary of State, because I do believe it is necessary to do that. But When you authenticate your birth certificate, you authenticate it for a particular country. And the thing of the matter is that everyone is saying choose non-Hague countries. Okay, but when you authenticate your birth certificate, what's the intended purpose? What are you going to use it for? Because a lot of people have different theories about, what exactly they will use it for once they get it authenticated. But when you do it for a specific country, and particularly a non-Hague country, you can only use it in that country. And then, excuse me, it's for travel purposes. So when I say that you can only use it in that country, that means that you can only declare the value of your estate outside of this jurisdiction, especially if you're using a birth certificate that's been authenticated for a country that's non-Hague. Now, when you go do an apostille, an apostille you can use for both Hague and non-Hague countries. So you can go foreign and then you can bring it back domestic and declare your value after it's been apostilled. So it just, and this is from my perspective, right? So if you have other thoughts about this, by all means, put it in the chat. But I think we got hung up on this whole authenticate the birth certificate because a lot of people was teaching it, but I bet you a whole bunch of us got a whole bunch of authenticated birth certificates laying around the house because we did it, but we didn't know exactly what to do with it. She says, I have an installment agreement set up with the IRS, but haven't paid in 3 to 4 months. Can I do the remittance coupon? So the thing about the remittance coupon, Lyle, a lot of people ask about the coupon. And part of the reason I never speak about it is because a lot of people just want to go and endorse the coupon and mail it in and think that that's the only thing that they have to do. There's a lot of prerequisites that needs to be in place in order for that to clear, even if you endorse it properly. Your bank has to be placed on notice in a way so that they know the activity that's coming through the account so that they can make sure that your transaction's clear, because the coupon is you submitting payment, but the bank still has to clear the EFT. But if they don't know what the heck is going on in your account and you haven't been identified in your proper capacity in order to justify the activity of what is going to be running through the account, along with the instructions that you've given them to manage the account, it's not going to work, in my opinion. There may be other people out there that can do it a different way, but you have to put these parties on notice. And so this is the reason why the initial class that I did was the Secure Your Interest class, because it's walking you through the steps of some of the prerequisites, the documentation that needs to be on file so that you can identify yourself properly as the beneficial owner. It's all for a bigger picture. We have to look at it in the grand look at it in the grand scheme of things, y'all. We got some steps. There are some steps. We be trying to skip steps. We're always trying to skip steps, right? And I remember telling y'all in the beginning, I said, we're going to take this thing slow. We're going to take it slowly because it's necessary. Kind of take it slow. All right. Let's see what else is going on. Greetings. I've been watching your videos for the past hour and have no idea. You said, he said, wait, I'm sorry. He says he has no idea that I was live. It didn't give you a notification. You know they might start. Do they do shadow banning on YouTube? You just happen to click on. They be hating. You know they be hating. Greetings to you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Botanical. Ooh, I almost mispronounced it. I had to slow down for a second and read it. I love that name. Thank you so much for the super chat, Botanical. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You said buy me chicken nuggets. I'm done. Wait, Shay, you had to do some investigation. He said I was watching her videos and taking notes, and she mentioned TikTok. So I went to TikTok and then noticed she was looking at another camera. And I said, let me come up to you. That's too funny. That is too funny. Right. So back to my question. Back to my question. I just wanted to make sure I scrolled down to the bottom of the comments. What are some of the things that you're going to have to do to mentally prepare for this journey? Do you think that, you know, it's just going to be a situation where you just dive in? Greetings, greetings, greetings. Can you just dive in and have the ability to endure? Why did my face look so red? Hold on. Face look red. Right. Are you going to have the ability to endure? Because you're going to get to a point where you want to give up. I'm telling you. Oh, what was the question? I'm sorry. Let me scroll up. Wait, what's the question? Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness. That was my first or second time seeing the super chat. I didn't realize that the question was attached to the money. Okay, greetings, Miss Bush. How do I avoid having to pay off a closed credit card account? Okay, so for your closed credit card, if you do, okay, so it's closed, but it's not charged off. It's just reflecting it's closed. If it's just reflecting as closed and it's not reflecting as a charge off, then you can write a letter to the consumer reporting agency. Well, actually, no, deal directly with the creditor. Deal directly with the creditor of the credit card that you closed. Now, let me ask you a question. How old is the credit card? How old is it? And why do you want it removed off of your report? Is the balance zero? Did you miss payments? I need more information. So how do I avoid having to pay off a closed credit card? Okay, so it's 4 years of age, missed payments. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, the first thing that comes to mind is 15 USC 6802, that you have a right to privacy. And the company never gave you the documents that you needed in order to exercise your rights to opt out from credit reporting. So that's 15 USC 6802. You can also hit them with the documentary evidence rule 44. You can look that up. You basically want them to furnish you with all documentation, both public and private. Yeah, the balance doesn't matter. It can, because it doesn't need, I mean, before you can even get to the discussion of the debt, You have to get past the privacy issue and them being able to substantiate that they're the holder in due course of that instrument securing the debt. So that's why I said identity or not identity theft, but the privacy issue first. That should nip it in the bud. Okay, so is anybody going to answer my question? I don't see an answer to my question. Could somebody answer my question? What are some of the things that you're going to do to mentally prepare to begin this process? Y'all be lit in these comments. Okay, so y'all just ain't gonna answer my question. They just having their own conversation. Yep. Thank you, Marcia. Somebody. Goodness. Shay says, stock up once they yeah. Yeah. And if any of you have business or an LLC, use your Quill account. Because when I tell you Quill saved me during the pandemic, Quill, all my business credit vendors saved me in my household during the pandemic when we couldn't get certain supplies. Remember when we couldn't get those disinfectant wipes and we couldn't get cleaning supplies and garbage bags and basic essential stuff that we need? I was still placing my orders through my vendors on the business side because they consider businesses to be essential. So they were shipping out to businesses first before the consumer. I was ordering cases of disinfectant wipes, tissue, paper towels. Man, I was ordering all kinds of stuff. All kinds. We was stocked to the max during the pandemic. And I went down to Restaurant Depot and spent like $1,000 on the bulk packages that they have. I'm telling you, man, that if you have an entity, be setting up business credit on your entities, y'all, because that's just going to give you access to more resources for your household. Because remember, it all rolls back to the consumer. If you've given your social security number to set up any entity, it all still goes back to you. So you're still a consumer seeking to acquire goods and services for personal, family, and household use. Eternal blessings. You're welcome, Botanical. Yeah, it's like we gotta use all the resources around us, use these entities to our advantage. He says, write down, plan, study, time, get all materials, understand why behind the why. Yeah, you have to understand the why behind the why. Yep. I'm telling y'all, we're gonna be in beast mode. We are going to be in beast mode. Okay. So y'all told me how y'all were feeling, but your first steps is going to be, or what your first thought was after the class ended, and what your first steps are going to be during this process. So let me ask you. Well, we already established that we want to have some sort of group set up, because my next question was going to be, do you have a support system? a support system. And when I say support system, remember how we went over the fact that you're going to want to have whoever's going to be your two witnesses for your documents. That's part of your support system. Trying to change this thing to the right date. I don't think I read my message for today. So September 4th is Psalm 6:12. It says, "From the ends of the earth, I call to you. I call as my heart grows faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I." Right. Your support system. The wall in my room is an entire whiteboard. It looks like the ramblings of a madman removed from society. I'm telling you, it changes, if it ever changes your DNA. When you are learning this information, it literally changes your DNA, and you can't unlearn. You can't change what you're learning. You can't get it out of your head. You don't want to, and then your mind begins to crave more and more and more. Can't stop, won't stop. You just can't stop. Um, I'm he says, "Are you going to run it back?" It's going to be set up as a course, so you'll be able to go and get the replays and all the resources, right? I may at some point do another one, but it'll be like a quarterly thing, because there are some other topics that I want to cover. So I'll be dropping another class before the end of the month. I know that's right. My husband, my twin sister, we're getting our whole family free. I'm telling you, I'm telling you. So Harley is going to have to be, they're going to have to be 18 or older for your witnesses. Yeah. Because they have to be able to legally take an oath, and you have to have their identification on the document as well. So a lot of people don't necessarily have IDs for their children. Yeah, Marcia, they're always going to say that. She said, "I've been trying to tell people about this, about it as I'm learning, but they're all like, let me see what happens with you first." That's how that's how they are. It's like you need somebody that's going to be in the trenches with you throughout this process, because it's an emotional roller coaster. Because you're going to have some victories, you're going to have some losses, but you have to have the ability to endure. And every response that you get, look at it as a challenge. The challenge is to find defects in everything. Right. And then people only see the outside results after the inside. Yeah, exactly. Yep. She said, "I'm learning to just work in silence and let the results speak for me." Yeah. That's all you can do. And everybody has to qualify the information for themselves. That's where the studying comes in. That's where it comes in. It's time to get to work. Over here. Right. The application is where it gets difficult. That's very true. Oh, it's so hard for me to scroll on TikTok. Next time I'll have to do it on my phone because I have it on my iPad. Yeah, so if you go to the link, you can actually see all of the topics. You can see the chapters and the lessons in each chapter. Yep. I actually have there's a document that I have that lays out the entire FDCPA and FCRA. It's like a list of violations and it gives it to you in like layman's terms. Um, I'm gonna find it and upload it into the course because that literally will help you to be able to identify those violations. Like when you open up your mail, it's gonna be so overwhelming. Like when you look on the paper, all you're gonna see is money. That's all you're gonna see is money. But I have the list. I remember someone sent it to me a while ago, and I was like, "Oh man, this is so helpful." But I do have it. I just got to find it to upload it into the course. But that's gonna be that right there is a game changer because, like I was saying in training yesterday, we have to know how we were violated to be able to state our claim. If you don't know how you were violated, then you don't have a claim. That's the thing. It's not what you know, it's only what you can prove. And you have to be able to document that on paper in a way for the reader to easily understand the message that you're trying to relay. That's it. Yeah, I will definitely upload. Yes, I will. Yep. So I took today off. Um, and then yesterday, remember I was telling y'all my husband he left to go watch the Ohio State game. So I left to go meet up with him and we hung out. But today was like I just wanted to decompress, reset, get ready for the week ahead. But I knew that I wanted to hop on before I laid it down for the night. Um, and touch bases with you all before Monday. But I had a great time yesterday. We had some technical difficulties, but we got through. We made it through. We made it through. We made it. But yeah, we had a great time. Yep. So it's time to put yourself in position. Let's get going. Let's get going. Gisette, Gisette. She says, I looked at the contract from the dealership and the bank isn't even on my contract. Just me and the car dealership. I'm confused on who to address about this. Okay, so the bank isn't going to be on the contract between you and the dealership, right? Because the bank is the one that made the offer to you to enter into a consumer credit transaction. What they did is they took your contract and they assigned it to the bank for the bank to begin to collect payments. Because remember, the holder of the instrument is the one that's able to collect payment. So when you say, I'm confused on who to address, what specifically are you trying to address? Are you trying to do a rescission or are you trying to, what are you trying to do? And also is the bank, are you're paying the bank right now though, right? Yeah, so the bank isn't going to show on the original agreement between you and the dealership. I'm not sure if this applies to what you're talking about, but I just came across all of this info literally 2 days days ago. One quick question: am I able to rescind an agreement after 2.5 years? If you go and read 15 USC 1635, it speaks about rescission. And yes, 2.5 years, yes, you can still rescind. You can still rescind. Absolutely. And you have to go back and look in your paperwork because you want to make sure that there isn't any documentation in there that outlines your outlines your rights to opt out or your rights to rescind. Right? They're supposed to give you that documentation. And if they fail to give you that documentation, then your right to rescind extends from 3 days to 3 years. But you're going to want to go through your contract with a fine-tooth comb and find every reason, every single reason that's going to back up the reason why you're rescinding. And I actually covered some of those reasons in class. Yes, the statute of limitations. Yes, the statute of limitation on fraud is 2 years from the day you found out you were wrong. No, there's no statute of limitation on fraud. No, right, exactly. And so that's what I was saying yesterday, because once you come into your conscious state of mind and once you step into your age of majority, that's when you can begin to assert your rights. So it's really whenever you find out. That is the concept surrounding no statute of limitation on fraud. Just trust me, I've been trying to find it where it says that, but it's really implied when you really think about it. All right, hold on. Let's see. Right, okay. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much for all that you do. I'm so glad I came across your TikToks. I'm determined to listen, it's time to go after it. Okay, Gisette, my husband wrecked a car and my car insurance is paying it off. I just bought a car a few months ago. The car was already paid for at purchase. Right. It was paid for the moment that you endorsed the agreement, that you accepted the offer and tendered it back to the party as a cash equivalent. But what they did is they didn't take it and provide the credits to pay the transaction. They kept your credits and then they charged you. That's how that works. How can I get an original contract? I don't feel like the one they gave me was the original. It's probably not the original, and you'll never get the original back, which is the whole point, because they don't have the original. So because they do not possess the original, they can't be the holder in due course of the debt that secures the obligation. That's the whole point. Nobody's ever going to give you the original contract back. They can't. It's gone forever. Remember, when you signed the document, you issued the value. The contract is the money. So they sold it. You're never going to get that back, which is your argument. That's the whole point. Adrian, it depends on the situation. Yeah. Oh, you always want to have the birth certificate cord. Absolutely. They're always going to tell you that cheat. It's These dealerships are not in the business of losing money, so they're never going to advise you that you have a right to rescind. Cinderella, yep. Not on this live though. That was covered in the class yesterday. No, don't confuse the car insurance with the fact that the company is they're offering to insure you. That's not the same. I'm not talking about the same insurance. Letters to the CEO. It's going to be the board of directors. Find the board of directors. I usually send all of my letters out in threes. So the board of directors, the register agent, and if you have an address listed on the back of your statement for disputes, I would send it there too. Yeah, they were paid multiple times. That's the problem. They double dipped. Absolutely. And thank you so much for the super chat, Gisette. Much appreciated. Yep. So, like I said, I just wanted to touch bases with everyone before Monday. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop off, and I will see you all this week. Just keep your notifications on. I'm gonna probably get in here and schedule out a few broadcasts, just to let you all know what's coming up down the line. I am going to have a special guest on this month. So you're welcome, Gisette. Thank you so much. So keep your ears and eyes open for that announcement. My lien holder responded to my notice of rescission with the letter stating it will no longer report to the CRAs, but it to be loaned. Wait, what? But it to be loaned was already removed from my reports a few years ago. So I understand what you're saying in the first sentence, but that second sentence is a little cloudy. Yes, I'm trying to, but yeah, shoot me an email, Marcia. And just so you all know, I am working my way down the email, so please be patient. If you know anyone, like I announced yesterday in class, I am looking for an assistant. So if you have someone that you'd like to recommend, have them send their email, have them email me their resume. With their resume. You don't have to be located in city of Charlotte. And that's info@tamratbush.com. All right, y'all. I'm out. Peace and love. Peace and love.